Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing great today. Today, we're talking about Legend from 1985. It's one of the most visual, stunning fantasy films of the 80s. Great costumes, incredible set design, and unforgettable makeup. Especially Jim Carrey's terrifying and terrific performance of Darkness. In terms of makeup, sets, and creature design, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better-looking fantasy movie from that decade. The costumes are phenomenal indeed. Tim Carrey's Darkness is iconic and one of the best character designs ever. Lots of inspirations came from that character design. I guess he was in the chair for about 5.5 hours as they put makeup and all the stuff they needed to put on him, which is a lot of patience. And early on, I guess afterwards, he would have to take a bath so things would dissolve so he could pull it off his skin. And one time he didn't wait long enough and he actually pulled some skin off. It was very gruesome from what I understand. And it sounds like very painful as well. The sets do look magnificent. Everything has a dreamy, surreal Ridley Scott touch. Legend excels in the visual departments. Sara puts in a solid performance as Princess Lily. Tom Cruise at first seems a little bit miscast and wasn't really buying him as Jack. But as the movie went along, I started getting used to him on the screen playing in a fantasy movie. I don't know how it would have been back in 85 because I just watched, this is the first time I've seen it, so that's like, 40 years later. And of course, Tom Cruise has been in tons of movies since 1985, so you got a different perspective of him. So I don't know what people felt like back in 1985 when he was still a young and upcoming actor. Maybe their perspective was a little different. If you was one of those people who saw this movie in 1985 and you still can remember, let me know what you thought about Tom Cruise playing in a fantasy type of movie. And then Tim Curry, of course, is the standout. He fully becomes Darkness, equal parts seductive, menacing, and theatrical. The mythology is simple but solid. Unicorns exist to keep Darkness from entering the world of men. Once Darkness decides to kill the last two unicorns, the balance between light and darkness collapses. The themes of lost innocence, good versus evil, purity versus corruptions are all handled very well. Of the 80s fantasy movies, Labyrinth, The Dark Crystal, Willow, etc., Legend sits near the top. I think it's better than The Dark Crystal. I'm not really a big Dark Crystal fan. Every time I watch it, I fall asleep and get bored with it. I probably tried to watch that thing 4 times and never made it past the first half an hour. Though I did like the Netflix series. I thought it was very well done. Ridley Scott created incredible environments, memorable characters, and rich atmosphere. And if you enjoy fantasy movies, this is the one for you. Here's some fun facts about Legend. A fire destroyed the entire set. They put it on a James Bond set in Pinewood Studios, and it all burnt down, so they had to rebuild it. But the disaster forced the script and location changes. Tom Cruise performed most of his stunts. Even back then, he was dedicated to his craft. I wonder if he did the little jumping off the cliff and did like a somersault. I wonder if that was him or if that was somebody else doing that for him. If it was him, I'm very impressed. There are 2 different completely soundtracks. Jerry Goldsmith's orchestral score is an international version. And then you got Tangerine Dream's electronic score, US version. And I guess fans are divided. Which one is better? Let me know. Which one do you think is better? I only heard the one that's on Amazon Prime, so I couldn't tell you which one I would prefer. And then there are 3 main cuts of the film. You got the U.S. theatrical cut, 90 minutes long. International cut, 94 minutes long. And then the director cut is 1 hour, 113 minutes. From what I understand, Scott was wanting a darker, scarier type of movie, but they kind of toned that down as the movie went on. So, of course, Scott says the director's cut is the real version of the movie, and that's the one he prefers. Sara nearly lost her voice singing. I guess she had some songs in this one. That's why Scott cut down the singing parts because of the straining of her voice. I didn't know that she could sing, to be honest. Ridley Scott wanted to resemble a Renaissance demon, dramatic lightning, massive horns, and shadow-heavy framing. And the movie bombed at the box office, then became a cult classic. Reason for this, supposedly studio interference, marketing issues, and competition hurt the box office, but fantasy fans revived the film over time. and it is a great fantasy movie, especially for the 80s. If you know your 80s fantasies, there are some real duds out there for that one, for that decade. Creature effects were designed by Rob Bottin, the genius behind The Thing, created the goblins, elves, darkness design. And not only going back on Curry's darkness character design and everything, all the creatures in this movie look very well done, as much realistic as they could have made them back in the 80s. They look very realistic for that time period. And of course, darkness was influenced from his design inspired Diablo, Lord of the Ring, Balrics, I don't know, Hellboy. Reading my notes here. Hellboy creature designs and many demonic fantasy characters. So right now it's on Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Especially if you like fantasy, I think you'll enjoy it. If you're a fantasy lover, and if you've seen it before and you've been wanting to see it again, yeah, check it out on Amazon Prime. Let me know what you guys think about Legend in the comments below. Have a great day, and until next time, bye.